This male caregiver poured boiling water on his master's leg on his first day of work just to test if the patient was really unconscious. In order to peek at the beautiful secretary during dinner, he fed food directly into the patient's eyes. He even disliked the patient's beard. He made his master look like this and this and this. But the strange thing is, in the face of such disrespect for the patient's caregiver, the employer not only didn't fire him, he even enjoyed his life very much. He offered his salary several times higher than the average, and with such different personalities and identities and skin colors, they ended up becoming lifelong friends. The owner's name is John. He's the richest man in the world, but he was paralyzed for life after a skydiving accident. He was paralyzed from the neck down. He lost his wife. John had to hire a caregiver to take care of him. The lobby was packed with people in suits who wanted the job. They were all dressed in suits and wanted the job. Some came from prestigious schools. Some had won awards. The applicants were all trying to present themselves, but one black man stood out from the rest. He's wearing the usual white shoes and hoodie, and he came here to fail the interview. It turns out that after 3 rejections, Jack was entitled to government unemployment benefits, so he didn't even try to be nice to John. He mocked John's lack of taste, and he complained that he had no sense of humor. When John asked Jack what his specialty was, Jack even complimented the secretary's ass to her face. In order to finish as soon as possible to leave, John was a bit speechless. Unlike the other applicants who were too careful and serious, John liked Jack's straightforward character, so he purposely asked Jack to come back the next day to sign the rejection letter. Little did he know that this small decision would change the rest of their lives. Jack spent 6 months in prison for robbery. When he was released, he had nothing better to do than to live on the streets. He returned to his home in the depths of the slums. 8 siblings lived in a tiny room of a few dozen square meters. Even taking a shower was crowded. Mom worked during the day. The oldest sister took care of them all. Jack also found out that the oldest brother was involved with the local gangs. He wanted to care but didn't dare. He had just gotten out of prison himself. Mom finally came home with a tired body. Her son had disappeared for half a year without a trace. Now he shows up and brings back a colored egg. It doesn't pay the rent. It's not even as good as a piece of chocolate. Mom wanted to know where her son had gone, but Jack didn't want his family to know he was in jail for a mistake. Mom was furious and kicked Jack out of the house. Jack had nowhere else to go but back to the streets. He and his friends grabbed cheap junk food. Then he talked about his unrealistic fantasies, but it was getting darker and colder. His friends had all left. Jack was freezing his ass off. He couldn't stand the cold, so he took out the only change he had left. He fell asleep in the air conditioning of the train before the first rays of sunlight fell. He immediately went to the entrance of the mansion and wanted to take back the rejection slip and leave, but the butler showed him around the mansion. Every room was luxurious and spacious. There were servants everywhere, and what Jack envied most was the brightly lit bathroom, because Jack couldn't even stretch his legs in the shower at home. This place is like heaven. John was in physical therapy. Jack picked up the signed rejection slip and was ready to leave, but John stopped him. John liked Jack's natural sense of humor, so he decided to give Jack a month's trial. Jack wasn't going to say no, because no one turns down a free trial of a perfect bathroom and a 2-meter room, but because Jack had no nursing experience, he was always careless in his work. He fell asleep on his first day of training, carrying John to a wheelchair. Jack thought he was doing a good job. He almost